Yeah, my presentation today is going to talk basically about how I try to make my online class a little bit more interactive. That's the bottom line. Like some of us I've been teaching at the University of Eastern Clear Lake for about 12 years now, and most of the time we've had some form of online education. In fact, with I don't know if you guys know of hurricanes and stuff. When I started at the university was when we had Hurricane Rita or Katrina, and everybody was flooded out. And so after that incident, our president or the dean insisted that you had to have some sort of online course shell. And so whether you're teaching the class face-to-face or not, if you have a situation of a Katrina or Rita where the students are not on campus, you could at least do something online for those who might still be able to log on. So to motivate today's specific topic, what I found out over my time teaching at U of H Clear Lake is that, and I'll also say that I sit in even though my degree is in economics, I sit in a non-econ department in the healthcare administration program. The Texas Medical Center in Houston is the largest medical center in the world, and my department actually moved from the rest of the university to have physical location at the TMC, at Texas Medical Center, so we can be close to the people that we're teaching. So teaching economics to non-economists, as we all know, can be a little bit of challenging. Teaching health economics to my business majors, not just in the face-to-face class, but in an online setting, I found, especially my undergraduate students, really challenging. And so every semester, at the end of the semester, I'm trying to figure out, how do I get better the next time? So to give you a little perspective about my university, it's a relatively small, we call it community college, about 8,000 students. Many of them are non-traditional. In fact, only in the last 2 years have we gone to what we call a downward expansion, which is basically my school was an upper level division. You only came in from, you were fitting in from a community college. So we were only teaching to third year and above, up to the master's level. But now so we're really non-traditional in that sense. Most of my students are working full-time, even if they're full-time students, probably have family obligations, first generation. This is my undergraduate as well as the graduate level. Really busy. And so what our university has done is to try to meet their needs. And I teach both my undergraduate and graduate level healthcare economics classes. We alternate the mode of teaching across semesters. So I might be teaching the undergraduate health economics class face-to-face this semester, and then the next time I'm teaching it online, because there are some students who can't take it face-to-face. And sometimes I teach it at the 4 o'clock time or at the 7 p.m. time. So the thing I like the most about my university is I never have to have an 8 o'clock class in the morning. So 4 o'clock is the earliest. And we have a 16-week semester. And so this particular class that I find challenging the most out of all my classes is my undergraduate health economics class. And part of the reason, just to give you a background of the students, is that we have 2 undergraduate degrees that I'm teaching to primarily, and they're the traditional business undergrads who are getting a BS in healthcare administration. And then we started another track called the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Applied Sciences. And this was really for the people who've gone to the community colleges to get a clinical or an associate allied healthcare and don't have any business background at all in terms of their classes, but they now decide, I don't want to be a nurse tech or radiologist any longer. I want to get a degree in healthcare administration. And so they have even less business courses background. So my class is usually filled with both of those who don't have too much economics background anyway. And then sometimes they want to have the class online. And so what I found over the years of teaching it online, not every semester, alternate fashion, is that we've moved from the completely asynchronous class in which you just have all the PowerPoint slides, in Blackboard, and you have a discussion board sometimes, and over the years we've kind of grown in how we structure the discussion board to make it a little bit more interactive, to Blackboard being able to do fancier things. So my goal was to make my class more interactive, but as technology got better, I really didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I didn't want to sit there. I wasn't one of those lecturers. I have some of my colleagues, they create videos of themselves, not videotaping the class lecture, but outside of class, making short video clips. And I didn't want to go through all that reinventing the wheel. And I thought, how can I make my class more interactive? And so one of my teaching conferences that I attend for economics, I have to alternate my time between healthcare conference and economics conference. I discovered Cengage's MindTap. So for those of you who are not familiar with Cengage, MindTap is another platform entirely that it's like, they call it an electronic textbook, but it has a lot of neat things. So it's like a very, very interactive textbook. And so I have my learning management system, which we use in my university, called Blackboard. And then there was MindTap textbook, which really, what I saw with MindTap, with one of the Cengage demonstrations, was Greg Mankiw's Principles of Microeconomics text, which is not a health economics text, granted, but that was what they had. The market for healthcare economics textbook is already small enough that they just hadn't gotten to a MindTap for a health economics text. And so I said, well, I looked through the MindTap for the Mankiw's Principles of Economics textbook, and I thought, there is enough of some of the questions and some of the videos and some of the concepts I'm teaching in my health economics class that could be applicable to my course, that I thought, why don't I give it a try? Why don't I try to marry this MindTap platform with my Blackboard? But the purpose of it was to make my textbook much more interactive. Because what I had found over the years is that the students, my undergraduate students, they just don't read their textbook. They want to look at it. They want to look at the PowerPoint slides, especially in an online setting, even the face-to-face class. They want to try to answer the questions as quickly, especially if they're multiple choice questions. How do I get the correct answer? So if they don't have to read the textbook, then they won't. But I wanted them to read the textbook, or at least interact with the textbook. So read might not be the right word to use. And I thought I had found in MindTap, this textbook, something that might work. So this was an experimental course that semester. And then what I did was to also supplement the textbook with my usual PowerPoint slides. And strictly speaking, I don't even recall if the textbook had PowerPoint slides. I had PowerPoint slides that I was using already from another textbook, which I also spoke with Cengage that, well, I'm also using this other textbook, which is also Cengage, so could I just marry the two without having to make them, buy another textbook? And so I had my PowerPoint slides, short videos, and additional reading material, which I'll show you all in a minute. So I just want to throw out the disclaimer, being in the healthcare world, anytime I teach the docs, I always have to say, I'm not getting paid by Blackboard or Cengage or Greg Mankiw, so it's not necessarily an endorsement of any of the textbooks or the products here, but this was just what I used at the time. So, like I said, I really wanted, what was important also, because students don't want to have to learn something new. Our students are already used to Blackboard. I wanted some seamless interaction between Blackboard and MindTap. I don't want my student to log out of Blackboard and go log into Cengage MindTap and try to understand that platform entirely, because that might create some other frustrations. So what I'm going to demonstrate now, hopefully I can get on live, I'm going to show you what I did and how I worked with the technology guys at Cengage. What they were able to do is marry Blackboard can speak to MindTap so that my students would be in Blackboard and they'll click on the link and go straight to not just the beginning of Cengage's platform, but the exact thing I wanted them to see in the textbook. So I'll show you the weekly folders and the things that so the way I structure each weekly folder is I tell them the things they have to do, the readings, the PowerPoint slides. The great thing about MindQ's textbook is some of the problems, like if you're trying to show opportunity cost or whatever the math problem was, there was a short video that walks them through. So there's a video walkthrough, problem walkthrough. The homework assignments were in MindTap, and they were primarily multiple choice, but it fed right back into my Blackboard gradebook, which was what my school uses. And then I had short videos as well. So I'm going to take a minute to log into Blackboard. So I tried to log on earlier, but I realized that if I did that, it would log me out due to inactivity. That's why I didn't do that ahead of time. Right. So this is my Blackboard course. Actually, I should go back. And I just always organize it to bring up, this is what I want, to bring up my most recent classes. I'm teaching a couple of classes this summer. So the first thing I did, because this is the first time they're saying it, I gave them how to use their e-textbook. So the textbook was an e-textbook, and I didn't give them an opportunity to buy a physical textbook. You just had to buy the e-textbook, and that was one of the gripes I got from my students. Why can't I buy an e-textbook, my physical textbook, or why can't I print? I think they had an option to print some of the pages from that. And so the table of contents is usually the most important thing in the class. And I organized it on a weekly folder. So there's 16 weeks in the semester. The other thing to mention in my school, for accreditation purposes, all our fully online classes, students have to either physically come on campus to take their exams face-to-face, so just to reduce cheating, or if you absolutely can't do that, then you have to have a proctored exam where you go through an organization like ProctorU. So I'm just going to go show you a couple of weeks of the things that I have required to have my learning objectives there, and then I kind of list the activities so that it's not onerous. You have to watch this video, read the chapter in the textbook, review the PowerPoint slides. There was also some short videos. Most of my videos are under 7 minutes long, 5 to 7 minutes, or 3 minutes. And sometimes I tell them that. So I'm just going to click on the MindQ, the textbook, so you can see what it does. So the student gets to click here, and you can tell this is a Cengage thing because it goes there. Okay. I think this university has blocked the pop-up. Well, they get to see a little video, and then the textbook, the chapter for what we're talking about is there. And then my PowerPoint slides are also there, which they link on. This short video explains some of the concept that text is showing them. And then the problem walkthroughs, I wish I could show it to you. It really is very interesting. There's a very short, like 5 minutes or 7 minutes video of somebody working their hand and a board, working through the concept of opportunity cost or whatever, the marginal analysis. And then they have a homework assignment which is graded, and sometimes they have one that's not graded. And then there's some practice quiz from the PowerPoint slides. I'll just show a couple more weeks. And then some weeks I have them do like an article review. The important thing about my PowerPoint slides, specifically for this ManQ text, was that my PowerPoint slides now used the healthcare examples. So some of ManQ's examples might just be health because it's what it is. And I used, when I looked at the list of their homework, I had to go through to specifically pick those that were either healthcare or not. So they're all very similar. I have them review articles, maybe 4 or 5 articles during the course of the semester. And the specific thing about my article review is they have to mention 2 economic concepts they found in the healthcare article and put that up. I think that's about it. I wish I could show you the link, but I can't. So those are just showing you the same thing I just did. The other thing I have with my students, just to increase some sort of interaction with them, is that I use this app called Remind.com. So Remind.com is just basically an app that's on my phone, and it's optional. They don't have to sign up for it. I just put it in my course syllabus at the beginning of every semester. And you can sign up for Remind.com. I don't have your phone number, you don't have mine. I'm just not one of those faculty that give my students my phone number. But they can get on my phone through Remind.com. And for me, I have some evenings I might be there, lazing, watching TV, and I remember that I want to send my students a communication, and I don't want to whip out my laptop. I just pull out my phone and go to the app and say, hey, you guys don't forget to turn in that thing, whatever. And the other great thing about it is I don't have to respond to the students if I don't want to. So it's non-intrusive like that. A student can respond, and I can respond to them right away or at 2 a.m. if I happen to be awake, but I don't have to. So it's just another interactive app that makes the student feel like their professor is on their phone. If that makes them feel more connected to me, that's fine. Some of the lessons learned from that approach. Initially, the first couple of weeks, my students were just upset. Why can't I buy a physical textbook that I can resell and check.com, And I said, no, I want you to have the interactive. And I did that because I felt like having the physical textbook would take away from the interactive nature that I wanted to get from MindTap. And so but the very serious students and when I say serious, there are some serious students who are serious online students, and they do very well in the online format. They really thought it was great. The ones who may probably do better in a face-to-face format or not quite serious didn't have that. And then to some extent, that semester, I didn't utilize my discussion board as much because it was a new tool. And so just from anecdotes, I didn't do a survey or anything, my students felt a little bit of distance to the instructor than usual. The other thing was that the ManQ text was not fully utilized. Not every chapter in the book could apply to the concepts I teach in my health economics class. And so probably I used, I wouldn't even say 2/3, but more than half of the textbook. And then I supplemented that with my PowerPoint slides and all this stuff. I didn't make them buy another textbook, but the chapter on health insurance was clearly not something I could get from that textbook, so I had to provide that. And so, that was a limitation because there was just not a health econ textbook for MindTap at the last conference I attended, economics teaching conference, they assured me that the other textbook that I use, with Jim Henderson's Health Economics and Policy, they're almost complete with the MindTap version of that, which should be out by 27 September of this year, which I thought, September is kind of weird because school has started in August, so it's a little too late to be using that, but that's it. So anyway, to conclude, with improvements in technology, and it's amazing the things that we can do now with, even with Blackboard that used to be so clunky, we can make the online environment really, really be more interactive, more textbooks and homework platforms available. Still, students need to feel, need to feel connected with their instructor. So seeing Mankio's video and not me on the video, for some of my students feel like, well, why are you there? You know, but I still don't want to take the time to do the videos myself. And then I think that some of that can be mitigated with online discussion boards, being a little bit more engaging like that. So thank you.